Today I'm taking a look at retrovirtualmachine, an emulator which currently offers emulation for the ZX Spectrum and Amstrad CPC. Now, straight away looking at the website we can see that this doesn't look like the usual emulator affair. It looks as though it's designed for both casual retro enthusiasts and those who enjoy tinkering to great detail. Not only does it have fun features such as a virtual cassette player, they advertise the fact that retrovirtualmachine has the ability to add external devices to your machine as well, such as virtual SD cards, a turbo sound interface for the ZX Spectrum, and things such as RAM add-ons for your Amstrad CPC. Retrovirtualmachine is certainly looking like it could tick boxes for both ends of the spectrum. Pun totally intended there. You can download retrovirtualmachine by visiting retrovirtualmachine.org and going to the download section. Once downloaded, you can simply extract the application from the archive file once you've downloaded it and run it. No big setup or installation, which is nice. Upon booting, you're greeted with a blank canvas. One thing to understand with retrovirtualmachine is that you need to create a machine by clicking the menu icon and then create machine. From here on, you can work through the wizard to create either a ZX Spectrum or Amstrad CPC system which you want to emulate. There's a really good selection of different variances of each system to choose from here, which is quite impressive. Once you've saved your system, you simply click the power button to switch it on. The first thing I noticed was the CRT effect in place by default. Now obviously this may not be to everybody's taste, but don't worry, you'll find stacks of screen effects that can be easily manipulated to your preference. I particularly like the ghosting and flicker settings to help recreate that old RF connection to your TV. I have to say this has been implemented really nicely and will attract both experienced and the more casual user. A quick click on the tape icon will reveal the virtual cassette player. This is such a cool feature in the way it's been implemented into the emulator. All you need to do is have your tap file for your system. Here I'm using SWIV for the ZX Spectrum. When you select your tape, you even get a labelled cassette appear in the tape player. Such a nice touch. It's all about recreating the actual experience of using an older system, so you'll just need to do the usual load commands for your system, click the play button on the tape player, and then you'll hear and see the tape whirring round. You can even see the tape moving across the reels as the game is loading, another really nice touch. To save you from waiting the long load times, retrovirtualmachine has the ability to fast forward, which is very useful. The one thing I did find with MultiLoader tapes is that you really need to be careful to stop the tape when prompted, otherwise you can lose your position for when the next block needs to be loaded, so use with care. If you do lose track, however, you can click the pause button on the tape deck, which will show each section of the tape loader, which you can just then click on and the tape will rewind automatically to that point. It's very useful. For me, emulation of the Amstrad CPC is a little less accessible than the ZX Spectrum generally speaking, so I'm going to probably be using this as my go-to standalone CPC emulator from now on. You've even got classic Amstrad green screen if you want to go that far. All in all, I found retrovirtualmachine a really enjoyable experience. It probably won't attract those who like to have all their systems emulated in one place like with RetroArch, but as a standalone emulator, this really brought back some of the joys of actually using the systems. It's obviously as much about the experience as it is the emulation. This is an excellent emulator project by developer Juan Carlos, and I look forward to seeing further updates. Be sure to check out the retrovirtualmachine website, which is included in the description, to try the emulator out for yourself. Thanks for checking this video out, and be sure to leave a like if you've enjoyed finding out about this emulator. Also, do subscribe to the channel if you are interested in seeing more retro content. Thanks again, and see you soon.